This is Cresso, and this is part 64 of the Human Journal. I am abundance. You know, after my last journal that I talked about fear, you know, a lot of stuff, the bulk of my clips on my channel, I always talk about the mind because it plays a big role in our experience on Earth. And, you know, I was so inspired and moved by the stuff that I shared and knowing that people are inspired. And interesting how sometimes, sometimes we could forget. We definitely could forget things sometimes. But, I do have the ability to bounce back. And that's why I'm encouraged and feeling good to do this journal, because I want to talk about abundance. You know, when I talk about fear, how fear can impact a lot of us, okay? This is a continuation from the last journal. You see, abundance is the opposite of being, or let's just say the opposite of anxious. When you're anxious, you're not feeling abundance at all. And I want to break it down in this journal because, you see, abundance, a lot to do with abundance is a feeling. It's not so much on material things, you know. Early on, I was just feeling a little bit, I was going through some emotions. And I had a talk with my friend earlier. I was just talking to her about just expressing stuff. A lot of stuff was going on earlier about the moment, the heat of the moment when your mind is coming up with racing thoughts and trying to figure out. And I had to really meditate and stop and meditate and really go in. And yeah, I was just talking to her earlier about it. And I talk about all the things that, the things that I feel good about, like what do I like to do, how do I, what do I rather feel? I was going deeper and deeper about the feeling state, and I was comparing myself to people. Yeah, there was a moment I was comparing myself to people, and I knew right there and then it's something that's not good. I'm not really setting myself up to win when I start feeling like I'm comparing myself to people, especially about people's particular lifestyle and stuff. And, I'm like, so when I was just talking to her earlier about different things, I was just picturing myself just having a good experience, but overall feeling good. And then I was telling her about driving the Tesla car. I love the Tesla car. I did a test drive on a Tesla car. It's great, a great car. No gas included. No gas. This is just straight up like electric car. It's great. Anyway, that was a great experience I had recently. So I was just talking to her about, like picture myself driving a Tesla car and doing different things, traveling different places around the world. Doing things however we want, just living a life abundance. And but it's the feeling, I would just, and we were just having a real deep conversation about abundance alone, because it's like, some of the stuff she was saying I'm going to express in this journal is very interesting. There's that other side of us, or you're going to call it the dark side of us. The part of us that's just feeling anxious. When we feel anxious, that part of you is drooling, of wondering how am I going to live a certain lifestyle that I want. It doesn't know, or it just can't comprehend that. And she was telling me about how the dark side of us could definitely feel that way. It doesn't know. It doesn't know about what it is to live abundance, or abundantly, excuse me. And but it wants that. And I was adding to her like, yeah, so yeah, that part of it wants to. It just don't know how to get there. And this is when you see this is where a balance got to come in between. It's like we got to lay out the bridge. You got to bridge yourself, that part of yourself, into that truth about abundance. And I was just talking about things about sometimes we look at people, right? And people got a lot of money, live in these big mansions and all that. And it's very easy, you know, to get caught into that. We get caught into Hollywood. People live in certain lifestyles and all that, and we you know, I talk about this here and there recently about people in certain lifestyle. But, you know, I'm only echoing that a great deal of people, for example, in America, is drooling into people living the lifestyle of the rich and famous. I think matter of fact, I grew up watching these shows. There was a show back in the 80s, Lifestyle of the Rich and Famous. I watched part of it, but I never really cared for it so much. There was a program back in the 80s. But anyway, so I'm like, a lot of us, we want those things. And it's like, but even though it's materialistic stuff, but if you strip away about the people and the rich and famous, whatever, you want to feel good. You want to feel abundance. But sometimes we put certain things kind of like we don't prioritize different things. And I go deeper about this. And maybe some of the stuff I'm saying is journal is a little bit of repeat. That's fine. I try to go as deeper as possible about certain things that we feel and why we feel this way. And I like to break it down for myself and for everybody, because, you know, when we are aware of certain things and how to go about it, it is, you know, we are empowering ourselves to go about things differently, to have a great experience in life. So, you know, we look at certain people that we honestly feel like they're better than us. And, you know, that's just another, we're feeding ourselves lies. And, you know, as I was talking to her about it, there's one movie that came to my mind. I was talking to her about. Sometimes we get caught on comparing ourselves to people. But the one movie that came to my mind was, if anybody watched this movie, Trading Places. I watch that movie sometimes. It's funny. And I was thinking about the Duke and Dukes, right? Now, I'm going to use them as an example. Now, we see, you know, if anybody watched that movie back in the days, all right, you pretty much will follow what I'm going to say. But you look at the Duke and Duke, right? They got so much money, right? Even though it's monopoly money, but let's just say they got so much money coming out of their ear and their nose, everywhere. But look at them. You know, this is an example, okay? They're miserable. You got people that service them that really don't have to be there. They could be somewhere else, but they're there. And you look at the Duke and Dukes, they're just literally unhappy. And you ask yourself, how can these people be so unhappy that they got so much? And then you say to yourself, man, I wish I could live like that. But these people, they're not happy. What's the problem? The problem is that when we see certain people that, quote unquote, got it all, you know, whether they're glitzy, but they're not glitzy, that's just a front. But the people that's so obvious, like the Duke and Duke, for example, is because they're actually living a poor man's lifestyle. Again, if anybody watched the movie, you pretty much understand where I'm going. And they don't have no clue what it is to live or even feel abundance. They're just unhappy. Okay? And because they don't live a life of abundance, and especially one of the Duke and Duke brothers, the one that I forgot his name. Darn! Wow, I watched the movie so many times and I forgot his name. But anyway, one of them that was telling Eddie Murphy, one of the scene where Eddie Murphy was begging him for Eddie Murphy's playing like he's crippled, and he was saying, hey, can you spare a dime or a nickel, whatever? And one of the brothers was saying, I got no money to give you, and smack him in the head with a newspaper. That's the brother I'm talking about. He is so like he's like the most miserable character in that movie. Okay, and at least the other brother, at least he's not as bad, but this guy, he's just literally miserable, anxious about money. Like, wow. And that's the role he's playing. But you see, this is an example. Again, I'm saying, a lot of people that we look up to, some people like they got it all, and we look at people in the Forbes magazine, the richest people in the world. You have to have an open mind. Are these people happy? Now, maybe a lot of you listen to my audio, feel like, well, I don't care. As long as I got all that money. That'd be true, yes. But then you see what you're doing is that when you're living a life as a poor man, even though you have a lot of money, what you're doing is that you're sliding yourself into reality that you're basically going to manifest that idea of a poor man. So there you go. Look what happened. Fast forward, look what happened to the movie. At the end, the Duke and Duke, they lost it all. They got themselves in a poor man's house. Now, why? They got all that money and all that, and they got themselves in a poor man's house. So again, now I know I'm talking about material stuff, but the one thing I want to say is that if you want to experience abundance, it's the feeling. That's the foremost thing that a lot of us, it's a must to recognize that. The abundance is about the feeling. And then everything else comes into play. Like whatever that you like, material things, or maybe a location where you like to live, whatever the case is. But the feeling. Like, I'm going to say this. I mean, sometimes some people in America, okay, they look at some people in other parts of the world and they look at them like, oh my gosh, let's say some people don't wear shoes or sneakers, right? But some people in America look at those people as, oh my God, they're so poor. And I'm like, what makes you think that they're poor? Oh, because they don't wear a $300 pair of Jordans? It's an example. Those people are happy. What's the secret? Because they feel abundance. Abundance, again, we put material stuff first and then we put abundance last. We think abundance is having things. It's not about having things. It's about the feeling. Okay? So, and that's why I'm saying, to me, abundance is the opposite of feeling anxious. Because if you are experiencing abundance, there's absolutely no reason for you to ever feel, if you're feeling abundance, there's no reason whatsoever for you to feel anxious. Because when you feel anxious, you're chasing things away. You're doing the opposite. Okay? That's how powerful we are. We are literally chasing things away. Okay? And you think this is some bullshit I'm talking about. Well, examine your own life. Look back. Look at the things that you felt, because the stuff that was formulated in your mind, right? And because you formulate things in your mind, you chase things away. And if you don't believe what I'm saying, think back of your own life experience. It could be the smallest thing, the smallest life experience. Look back. And then you see what I'm talking about. But when you feel abundance, when you have a different vibe and all that, it's like, wow, this things going well. I feel good. So, if people live in the woods or in a mountain, whatever, in those kind of places, and if they feel abundance, hey, that's great. They are literally feeling abundance. You know, and yeah, those people live in the woods. Those people that live in the mountains. Okay? It's the feeling. Now, we could sit there and talk about, well, it's a preference. Yes, it's a preference where you want to live or how you want to live. But it all goes back to you feeling abundance. Abundance is not anything to do with limitations. When you recognize what abundance is, there is no limits. There is none. And I know a lot of people need to understand that in all parts of the world. I'm not saying everybody feels this way, but I'm just saying I feel like a great deal of people, not just in America, but a great deal of people need to understand about what it is to feel abundance. You see, what your own ego don't tell you is that, you see, when you're having a shitty day or something going on, you know, your ego is not going to tell you that it's basically you're the one that's chasing things away. You're not attracting the things that you want, but you're going to sit there and complain. We're going to sit there and complain about something that why we're not experiencing certain things that we like. And I'm going to tell you something, real. I'll give you some example as you know, I try to think of example as I go along this audio. You know, I feel that I don't have enough time to do different things, right? Yeah, we created this limited 24-hour clock about time structure. So anyway, I feel like, damn, I wish I have a little bit more extra time. I'll just let it go. Sometimes I get frustrated. I just let it go. Like, whatever. I'll just make the best. I'll do the best I can. I'm not going to sit there and worry about it. And you know, my higher self, and it's been many times this happened, my higher self literally, it's like things change. Like I have to be somewhere at a certain time, but I needed extra time, right? There's been many examples that things change, and my higher self just gave me extra time. It just happened that way. I mean, I'm just telling you, this is my experience on that. I've seen different things worked in my favor. And I know the real test is when you're going through certain feeling at the moment, like all anxious and all that, this is a true test that you have to really keep yourself calm. And if you don't understand or you don't know how things are going to work out and you're constantly running, your mind is running with worrying about figuring out how this is going to work out, don't worry. You have to be firm about this and not worry about how things are going to work out. And I see that a lot of people go through that. That pretty much lands us into a lot of experiences that we're not happy. We're too busy preoccupying and trying to figure out how things are going to work out. Because we don't understand for the moment that there's great powers beyond our own physical mind to understand that our higher self is looking after us. But if we land ourselves in an experience that we're not happy and we're not feeling a certain way, there's nothing separated from you to put you there, is that you put yourself there. You're gonna attract certain people, you're gonna attract certain situations. You know, and if you find it's too crazy to understand, you just look at your life. That's the thing. I have to look at my life. So yeah, it's very important to feel abundance. You know, my friend was telling me, she added this too, and this is really deep. She said to me like this. She said, you know, Chriso, that Tesla car wants you. I'm like, wow. I like that. That Tesla car wants me. It's like, man, that feels damn good. And I wasn't trying to compete what she was saying. I took what she said in, and it's the truth, okay? Because I know who I am. And I went further like this too. I added too. I said to her, you know, I said, this planet Earth wants me. Not the arrogant ego way about people like I'm above people. I'm talking about this rock, or you want to call it this multi-dimensional, or however you want to call this world. This rock wants me. Okay? I am the focal point of my own life, my own reality. So yeah, this world wants me because I'm consciousness. And I know, you know, to say that, it's a lie. While I was feeling that way, my mind was telling me, oh, shut up. Don't say that. And I didn't shut up. I still kept saying it. And, you know, that's the truth for everybody. All the stuff that your head's telling you that you don't deserve this, you're not that, or shut up and all that, you just got to go by the opposite. Keep voicing out loud if you want. Yeah, these great things do want me. But it's very important now. You have to feel abundance. You have to feel it, because if you put it backwards, like you put material things like first, you're not going to be happy. You're going to be just like the Duke and Duke brothers. I'm telling you. You are going to be completely miserable. And then you're going to chase things away. You see, when I break it down, and I do my best, I don't want to get so heady about figuring out why people do why people chase certain things away, and why our lives seem to be not where it's supposed to be and all that. I'm like, I like to keep it simple. I like to break it down as much as possible, and I like to just express it. Why are we going to a particular route we're not happy? So yeah, keep it simple. Break it down, strip it down. Just keep it simple. And you know, I mean, it's cool to have people with a PhD degree, psychiatrists and all that, trying to figure out why the human mind works, but that's, hey, you know. But the thing is that just break it down. You don't have to be a PhD or psychiatrist to understand. You know, just really examine why, look for the patterns, why I'm chasing things away, because I'm too anxious. So just switch up. Feel abundant. Feel abundance. You got to do things that is not comfortable for your mind. Where a lot of people are too conditioned, not everybody, but a lot of people are too conditioned to sit with this idea that we'll never get what we want. We can't feel good about anything. And that's just bullshit. We're doing it to ourselves. Just like I was saying in my last journal about fear. You know, we create ideas that represent fear to enforce that. So yeah. You know, so abundance is the opposite of being anxious. Let me express also about the engine. What's the engine of abundance? The engine of the abundance to me is love. It's absolutely love. Because you see, you love yourself that much, you giving yourself. It's the self-given. That's all it is. You're giving yourself. That's how much you love. The self-love. The self. It's just what it is. And there's no limits. There's absolutely no limits. You know, whether this is coming, the words coming out of my mouth about this truth, I do know, and I've seen it, and it does happen now, that man abroad that gravitate to that truth about that there really is no limits. We're playing the game or the process that there's a limit to things. You can be the most brightest individual in this world. Very bright, very intelligent and all that, yes. But a lot of people, I know, a lot of people embrace that truth that there really is no limits. So, abundance. Live your life abundantly. It's the feeling. So when I feel abundance, yes, I'm going to attract things. I'm not going to sit there and worry about how it's going to happen. I just know that I am abundance. You got to live at that level, the level of basically beyond the physical realm. I mean, you are in the physical realm, but don't make it like, oh, it's like the final and the only confirmation that my life is doing great. No, no, no. Everything from change or anything that goes on, and even in this physical realm, everything is internal. Everything. The spirit world is over basically on a physical realm. Consciousness molds itself on a physical level as an experience. And then you want to connect the spiritual realm, the physical realm, excuse me. You want to connect the physical realm to the spiritual realm. Just like I was saying in my last journal. You want to combine them both together. So there is a physical part of you, or you can want to describe a limited, or you want to describe a dark part of you, is drooling. It's drooling of the feeling of like, wow, I want to feel what abundance is. And, also I forgot to put it this way too, is that when a lot of people put in physical things like material things first, it's because the ego is trying its best to mimic what it is to live abundance. So it's going to put material things first. A car, a house, jewelry, whatever the case is on that. Because it's trying to understand what it is to live abundantly. So it fails. To see, Daisy, this is where you come in, everybody. You gotta be that builder. Put that bridge there to actually bridge, to bridge and basically lead your own ego into the truth of what living abundant really is. It is the feeling. That comes first. It is the feeling. You understand, everybody? So I just want to mention that, and it's very important to see that. Just look at just think back what I was saying earlier in this journal about the Duke and Duke. Wealthy people, okay, all those things, they're so miserable and they end up losing things. I've seen examples like that so many times in this world, and you kind of wonder, why are we still feeling a certain way? Why are we jealous of people, for example, in Hollywood? Why are we jealous of certain people that have whatever amount of money? Like, why? Why we do this to ourselves? Even though I understand what the Federal Reserve notes are, it's like monopoly money, seriously. But we use it as a currency. But I'm sorry, it's a little bit outside of topic, but I'm just going about it like looking back and looking back like, wow, we do this. We literally we're very good at kicking our own ass. We're good at that. But we don't have to do that. That's how powerful we are. We don't have to live like that. So yeah, I'm going back about this whole thing, and then I can't help but think about what the Federal Reserve notes are anyway. Again, I know it's outside the topic. It's just that we despise people, for example, because they got all that money, that green notes. But that's beside the point on that. The people that are miserable, that we envy so much, they're not happy. Do you really want to live like that? Do you want to really align yourself with all these things and then chase it away? If you want to hold on to those things and to continue to experience those, whether it's materialistic, I'm not going to look down on people because you like material things. We deserve a lot of great things in life. We deserve. I think a lot of us, we put things as like a religion about, we villainize material things. And every man and woman deserve all the great things in life. I don't care if you have 15 Corvettes or 15 Tesla cars. I don't care. What I am really talking about is your feeling. When you feel in abundance, again, I know I'm emphasizing a lot. There are no limits. So we really can't villainize the material thing. Is that we have to look at it is that the people that act, let's say, for example, greedy, okay? I mean, look deeper what greed is. You're greedy because you have a lack mentality. If you really live or you know what abundance is, why are you greedy anyway? Listen carefully what I'm saying, everybody. There's no limits. Nobody's saying that you can't have X amount of things. There's really no law to that. There's no limits to this, okay? When we go about vibrating a certain way, you're going to chase things away. Yes, you're going to be greedy. You're going to hold on to things really tight. And you're going to act like, I got to get more before it's all gone, because that's the core. That is the core of being greedy, because you think it's going to run out. That is a core behavior of someone being greedy. Again, I'm sorry, I got to repeat it again. You feeling like there's a shortage of things. So, yeah. So, you're holding on to things tight and you're chasing things away. People that know what abundance is and live through and through about it, you are the wealthiest individual. You are. Just understand what I mean, the wealthiest. I'm not trying to compare you to everybody. I'm just trying to put a saying that, but anybody, let's just put it this way, anybody that go about this way, yes, that will put you that you are wealthy. You are literally rich. And again, just check this out, how the mind works. You're repeating what I'm saying, but your mind's telling you, well, I don't have all that. What is he talking about? And that's when your own ego falls short. When you do able to align yourself with those things, let's say you go about it the hard way, you're going to lose them. You're not happy. There's something missing there, because you didn't prioritize things. You have to feel it first. That's all it is. It's really nothing much to it. And I just want to break it down in this journal. And I know I was feeling a certain way. I was comparing myself with people. I was feeling worried about different things. I'm like, whatever. And I just kept voicing out. I was talking to my friend of mine earlier again about abundance. And I'm saying to her, I said, I'm going to do a next part of my Human Journal series about abundance. I want to share what abundance is. I want to inspire people how to go about it to live abundantly. Because I was feeling pumped up after I had the conversation with her. So I want to share this with everybody. Take it in what I'm saying. I'm so honored to do this journal, and I'm very confident that people are inspired. You could be one individual viewing my audio. It doesn't matter. I'm just grateful that, that one individual listening to my audio, you are valued just as the rest of the population of this world. So the fact that one individual is impacted, that's enough for me. I mean, yeah, my own ego, yeah, I would love to see more people hear it, but I just trust my higher self that everybody is inspired. I'm just playing my part. This is the part that I enjoy doing. So feeling abundance is a must. It is top priority. There is no limits. In your head, there is limits. That is complete utterly bullshit. I like to put it in point, like bluntly. It's bullshit. There's nothing wrong having things. Okay, let's not go that part and live yourself like not having nothing. No. If you don't want to have material things, that is your preference. There's nothing wrong with that. You want to go about living, feeling abundance. Feeling. And when you feel abundance, things work out in your favor. And you got to trust. Stop relying on the physical realm alone to be the final and the only answer to things. No is not. So, yeah, because you will attract great things when you feel a certain way. Happens to me. Things work out in my favor. There is no big secret. We playing a game that there's a secret. I mean, people like playing this game being a secret. There is no secret. In your own head, you created the idea of a secret. There is no secret. I'm just breaking it down for everybody to simplify it. Live abundantly. That's it. So I'm glad I did this journal. I'm looking forward for part 65. Take care.